When you master this one skill, you will navigate life totally differently. But the problem is, no one is talking about it.
Born in 92 on the block with the Sharks. Come from a different cloth, y'all would get ripped apart. You want it diamond, then you gotta get it in the dark. We dropping nuggets like Carmelo went to Rucker Park. Now we eating from state to state, we scrape the plate. I put my eggs in a basket, took a leap of faith. I took a chance, now we grow and see the impact. Decoding Success with special guests, now let's bring Matt.
Welcome to the Decoding Success Podcast, top 1% globally ranked show. Thanks to you. Super excited that you are here and you are rocking with us for an all-new solo episode on YouTube or listening on the audio platforms. I'm going to put it out there now. If you want to switch what you're doing and maybe catch us on YouTube, you can check out the show notes for a link to that. Or if you're on YouTube and you want to listen to us on the go, you can check out the description where you could find the link there. But on that note, you are here for an episode that I feel so passionately toward because it is a skill that I believe we all have to master. The problem is we approach problems with the wrong mindset. In other words, if you have an emotional problem, you may be trying to solve it with logic. And if you have a logical problem, you may be trying to solve it with emotion. And I'm not saying that they can't ever be solved with the inverse, but I am going to give you today an actionable step-by-step plan to understand which route to take when it comes to solving your problems, because knowing when to use your mind and knowing when to use your heart is a skill set developed that will absolutely set you apart. On that note, I want to start this off by simply telling you a story. It's not a story that I'm proud to share by any means, but it was a time that I had absolutely no control of deploying either my heart or my mind. And I'm sure many of you can resonate with it. For example, have you ever been in a relationship and you knew it was coming to an end logically, but the emotional decision was to continue to stay in it or continue to fight for it? That's not uncommon, and you are definitely not to blame for pursuing that. But when you look back on it, you've obviously learned lessons that could then be translated into the skill set that we are talking about today. So many moons ago, again, dating myself, but hey, we're going to use these experiences for the benefit of our audience here. Many moons ago, I was dating a great girl at the time. I was probably 16. So that was many moons ago. And on that note, I couldn't fathom that the relationship was coming to an end. I was still operating with my heart, really operating with my heart, and just couldn't do so logically with my mind. And on that note, there was an incident that had taken place where I felt like a boundary was crossed. And with the boundary being crossed, it sent me into an absolute emotional frenzy where there was absolutely zero logic being used, and it resulted in some pretty negative outcomes. I'm sparing you the details because, like I said, I really don't talk about this publicly, but for the purpose of conveying this point, I think it is a great example of what I previously did and what I really would do now, hence what I'm about to share with you. So again, in that particular moment, I just let emotion get the absolute best of me. But from a logical perspective, all I had to do was make a simple change. So all of that being said, 3 things that I want you to walk away with from this episode. Number 1 is ask yourself, can a logical problem be solved with emotion? And can a emotional problem be solved with logic? In other words, what I really want you to do is number 1, get clear on what the road bump, what the challenge, what the hurdle is that's in front of you. Is it an emotional hurdle? Is it an emotional problem? Is it an emotional challenge? Is it emotional where it deals with maybe your heart or love or whatever other emotions might be at play? And then on the flip side, is it logical? Is it something that requires some brain power and maybe not heart power? Right? So getting clear on where that might be on the spectrum of logic and emotion. Then the next thing I want you to do, maybe even get so actionable you pull out a piece of paper, is make a T chart. You ever see those T charts, right? It just looks like a T. I want you to write the problem that you are experiencing at the top of it. Now, if the problem is my boyfriend cheated on me, my girlfriend cheated on me, my boss hit me, or whatever it is, right? These are just random examples off the top of the head. Get clear on the problem, make that T chart, and then I want you to write down how you would solve it or how you would approach it emotionally and how you would approach it logically. And I really want you to take a moment to weigh those options. And this is how you start to develop the muscle, which is a skill set of knowing when to use your mind and knowing when to use your heart. Once you have it in front of you and on paper, it's going to be very obvious which decision you should be opting for in that particular moment. It actually even allows you to tap into your higher self, and it's like, yo, like I would never do this. Like maybe your emotional side is making you tap into your lower self because your ego's involved in that. Or maybe the same is true on the logical side. But simply getting clear on which decision your heart wants you to do and which decision your mind wants you to do is how you start to flex that muscle and develop that skill set. And I guarantee you, this is not something that you have seen on YouTube or heard on another podcast. This is a skill that is not talked about enough. We hear all of these other skills, emotional intelligence, and no, this is like the nitty gritty of that. When to use your mind, when to use your heart. So again, your action items walking away from this podcast episode, walking away from this YouTube video, is get clear on the type of challenge that is in front of you. Label it logical, mind, or heart, emotion. Build out that T chart. How would you respond logically? How would you respond with your heart, with your emotions, with that side of you? And make the decision that is best suited for that particular moment. On that note, I want to thank you for tuning into this solo episode. Would really love for you to be here for more episodes to come. So make sure that you are smashing that subscribe button. Make sure that you are checking out, again, if you want to watch this on YouTube and you're listening on the go, head over to the show notes where you can get the YouTube and subscribe there. Or if you're on the flip side of that, if you want to check us out audio-wise and catch us on the go, you could definitely do that there too. Until next time, everyone, be blessed. Peace.